Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, this is you guys are gonna get whiplash tonally, but here we go. Next voicemail.
Good morning, Jern and Byrne. Captain T.P. Brown here from the Bermuda Triangle. I'm disappointed ye never heard of me, Captain T.P. Brown. Jern, ye better beg ye parlay if we ever cross paths. The real riddle, though.
Welcome to Recycle Bin.
What?
Yeah.
You can't just start it. Hello, we're
Hi.
here. Hey, I have a question. Is that light at 70%?
I don't know.
We should check it.
Nah.
It's too dark. It looks dark. Look
doesn't
how
look
dark
dark.
it looks. Something feels like it's different.
Is it you?
I'm different.
Are you
Yeah.
still sleep deprived?
Yeah.
From
no,
the dock week?
No, I'm fine.
of hell?
I'm perfectly fine, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I check the light?
Yeah. Go ahead,
And we're back.
dude. What is this podcast? Are you okay?
Yeah.
The light's fine, by the way.
It really... Okay, so here's what has happened. Okay?
Yeah.
I slept. I have been sleeping,
Uh-huh.
and I'm fine.
You sound fine.
I am fine. You might be wondering, wow, is he on vitamins currently? The answer to that is no.
It's like 1:35 on a Monday.
I
We're recording
wish.
this the same day you guys are going to get it.
Yeah,
by the way.
I wish. No vitamins. This is just the result of everything that has been done to us.
So, this is the first episode of Recycle Bin post theft, death, and Steve Jobs being available for everybody.
It is.
That's a crazy feeling.
Yeah, last time we were sitting here, it felt like it was never going to come out.
Dude, that edit, like, what? Okay, how would you review the edit? No, you just shake your head.
I think, I learned a valuable lesson.
What's that?
When you see things on Netflix or on TV and stuff, you're like, wow, it took a whole team to edit that. I could probably do it myself. Truth is, probably not.
No, you can't. Yeah.
Truth is, you probably shouldn't. I did, but it took everything.
It really did. You were a shell.
I still am. I'm still like recovering. I feel like for the last week of that, I was sleeping. So there's a theater right over there. So it's
Yeah.
like walls split. Over here, office. Over there is a theater.
A home theater. Not
And-
an actual movie.
yeah.
It's not like a mom and pop, you pay money movie theater.
I wish. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's where I slept.
Just on a little love seat.
Yeah, I slept there for two reasons. Number one, because if you sleep there, you can't get too comfy.
That's true.
I was afraid that if I went to bed, that I would get too comfy in bed and I wouldn't wake up in time. I would sleep way too long.
You really added that in time at the end. I
Yeah.
wouldn't wake up. That's it. You just go to sleep and that's it?
No, so I would sleep for like an hour, 2 hours at a time, and you couldn't get too comfy. But also, it was perfectly pitch dark, and it was like I didn't see the outside. I didn't see any other rooms. I saw you when you would come over to feed me and water me like a plant.
I was feeding, yeah, it's just a plant that eats McDonald's burgers and apparently Krispy Kreme donuts that they sell now, which is cool.
Oh, what a nice surprise! What was that? The last day
No.
for a Krispy Kreme donut?
No, dude. That
Oh.
was like the last, it was like the second to last day.
Oh.
That was the day we thought the doc was going to go out.
Oh yeah.
And then...
So it was the last day. It was the last day for us.
No, it wasn't. Because we worked that whole day. And then...
And night.
Yeah, and then the next day, we came in to finish some stuff up. But that turned into an all-day thing.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean finish some stuff up?
Well, it was like a small little touch-up pass, but it turned it up... what I'm saying, we ended up posting a lot later
Oh, yeah.
than we expected to.
25 hours later?
Yeah.
Which,
It was promised to go out Friday the 13th at 6 p.m.
Yes.
And then we went, uh-oh.
well,
That's not going to happen.
You know what's hilarious? Mm-hmm. Anytime someone says, "Oh, my footage got corrupted" or "My files got corrupted," I would laugh at them and make
Okay.
fun of them because I just didn't believe in that.
Didn't believe...
Yeah.
What?
Like
You and the pirates and not believing in footage being corrupted. What are you talking about?
It's like when people are like, "Oh, my crystal said I have good luck this week." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
So, okay.
So basically,
You thought it was superstition?
yeah, like when people are like my files got corrupted, they're just basically crystal people.
Okay.
So
that makes sense to
So
me.
I laugh at them and say that's not a real thing. Something you definitely are just lazy or didn't do the thing.
Okay.
Turns out files can in fact get corrupted,
Yeah, they can.
and so luckily it wasn't any A-roll. I think if any A-roll, like any footage of me, had gotten corrupted,
You'd be screwed.
You would have just seen my obituary somewhere.
Yeah, because this always happens to you. You were sick while editing. You got like a little mini cold.
I can't tell I can't tell if it was a cold or just my body asking me why.
Tell you what, you guys want some inside baseball and Recycle Bin?
No.
If you
They don't. They don't.
There's a few seconds of re-recorded, like, okay, whenever you... I'm just going to tell them. This is so funny. Everything, for the most part, in terms of you on camera and then your voice over top of stuff, was recorded in, like, the same session.
Okay.
So it's all very consistent.
Yeah.
There was some stuff that was recorded, like, last minute,
Okay.
and while you were sleep deprived. That light just flicker?
I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it.
This is my favorite running joke on Recycle Bin now.
It stopped. I thought we fixed it.
Well, we did not. So there was a couple things that you recorded last minute that it's very obvious to me. Like if people go back and listen to whenever you introduced John Gruber.
Okay.
It just, your tone of voice, you just sound like you're not alive. You're like, so let's call him. Like, you sound like you said it from bed.
I wish.
It's very funny.
Oh.
Like the tonal difference. So if anybody wants to go back and rewatch.
Well, those last 3 days, I think I had 3 hours of sleep in between all 3 days.
Oh, yeah. You were not doing good.
I mean, hang on.
He just left. See if everybody can see this on video. YouTube.com. Is it youtube.com/recyclebin?
Recycle Bin Podcast.
YouTube.com/recyclebin podcast.
Some fucking asshole has it.
Jern just came back and put 2, 4, 6, 7 cans of Monster
This was the last
on the table.
like day of the thing.
You had all these in one day?
Yeah, basically the rule was anytime I felt sleepy, drink one.
That was a terrible idea.
It was it.
Do you remember whenever I came over and you were thinking you were going to pass out from a headache?
Oh, I had the worst headache. And I was like, we can't go to the hospital right now. This has to go out.
And then you know what solved it was a bottle of water. Do you remember that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wonder what dug that hole. Oh, look, the shovel. It's
Listen,
right here.
these were the difference between it going 24 hours late, going out 24 hours late, or going out 72 hours late, probably.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
And they're all zero sugar, so good for you.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, they're good for you.
Wow. We didn't have any notes for this Recycle Bin.
Can you tell?
We've been kind of recovery mode a little bit because even though like you were the one in the hot seat editing, you're right. I was trying to keep you alive. You're just disappearing behind your cans of Monster.
And keeping me alive is quite the chore.
Oh, this is such a mistake. Those are gonna fall and get old Monster all over my MacBook, for sure.
Do you think they'll sponsor us now?
Maybe. I hope so. That'd be cool. Monster Zero is really good.
It is. It tastes like battery acid, just like the real thing.
Yeah.
I don't know where to put them.
Maybe in the trash. Those have liquid in them? Oh, okay. Recycle Bin, if you guys didn't know, is a community-driven show. I'm going to keep it moving.
They're really going to think I'm on medications.
The only thing you should be on is sleep. Recycle Bin is a community-driven show. You guys can call and leave us voicemails.
I hear there's a lot.
There's a few. 404-919-5530. Give us a call from anywhere. We have a few, maybe just one today. We've gotten quite a few voicemails from outside the U.S., so thank you guys, international listeners, viewers. Very cool.
Welcome to the show.
Light flickered again. Very cool.
Did it really?
Oh, yeah. You ready to get into some voicemails?
Why? We fixed it, and then for like 2 weeks, it didn't flicker once.
Yeah.
What could possibly be causing it?
I don't know. Hard to say.
Did you do something to them?
Tell you what, let's before we do voicemails, we'll take a quick ad break, and try to
Smart.
figure out the lights.
Is it too early for ads? If it is, too bad.
I don't know.
Too bad.
Okay.
Hey, Bern, I got a really important personal question.
Oh, go ahead.
You know, my phone bill is just so expensive, and it's Christmas, and I need money for the gifts, but there's no money to go to gifts because I'm spending all on my phone plan. And I just want to talk to people, call, text, data, but not for $1 billion a month, you know? So I guess I'm just going to have to cancel my phone plan.
Boy, oh boy, do I got a solution for you.
No way, I don't believe you.
Oh, yeah. Mint Mobile's here to rescue you. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless plans starting at just $15 a month.
What? It's a Christmas miracle!
It really is. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
What?
Use your phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month.
To get this new customer offer, that's you, and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/recyclebin. That's the name of the show. That's mintmobile.com/recyclebin. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/recyclebin.
$45 upfront payment required. It's equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes and fees and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Thank you to Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of Recycle Bin. All right, welcome back. Thanks for enjoying an ad.
Good news is, we think we know why the lights are blinking. Bad news is, it's still going to blink today. Sorry.
Yeah, it turns out when you got a bunch of shit plugged into a single, cheap surge protector.
It's trying its best.
Yeah. Okay. Let's listen to some lovely voicemails from some lovely fans.
Burn. Holy shit. That documentary, bro. That was the one. Man. Damn. Goddamn. That was good. Yeah, from North Carolina or whatever and all that shit, but that was a good documentary, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
thank you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate. Listen,
Did he give his name anywhere?
No, he didn't. Appreciate you though.
It sounded like there was somebody in the room coaching him.
Maybe he just had a friend over who also dug it. But anyway, there was a lot of voicemails. Thank you guys. So many voicemails giving us our flowers.
About the doc?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Most of them were, just praise. And I wanted to include them all.
I want to hear him.
We'll show you after the show.
Okay.
There's a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, that appreciated.
That was lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody seems to have loved the doc,
Mm-hmm.
Theft, Death, and Steve Jobs, now available on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
link
Patreon.
Link into everything. Oh, yeah. Ad-free version on Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon compressed the absolute shit out of it. But
Oh, is it bad? I didn't watch it
not
on
great.
there. Really?
I'd say it's like half of the... YouTube compresses it, and Patreon is still half of that quality.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a pain. Not trying to plug it really, but fptdocs.com is our Patreon.
Yeah. I do want to say, first of all, just want to say, this is not like look what I did for you. I already felt guilty that it wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
And Patreon, there's a couple issues with Patreon. The servers are, I don't know what server, I don't know where they got their servers from, like Costco
You mean
or something.
for video?
Yeah.
It's in beta, it says.
Yeah, it is. It's so bad. It took hours to upload.
Really? Wow.
It took an hour to upload to YouTube. It took many hours to upload to Patreon.
Dang.
In less quality.
Yeah.
I even exported at half the bitrate and tried. And I heard, can I try again?
Yeah, go ahead.
I already been up for 36 hours. And when you're uploading a video to Patreon, you can't schedule it.
Oh, it just
You
goes out?
have to wait till it's uploaded to schedule it.
Yeah.
So I had to, while I was up for 36 hours already, I got back here because we were watching wrestling at your house, got back here. I stayed up till 3:30 a.m. waiting for it to upload to Patreon. So I made sure that it was up on Patreon by the time I went to sleep.
Wow.
If not, it would have been noon the next day.
That's crazy. Okay. Yeah. Well, I was just going to say we have some behind-the-scenes content from the doc planned. We just had a patron-only poll.
Yep.
So the next piece of content has been decided by the patrons. Very exciting. Looks like it's going to be a director...
Behind-the-scenes content, right?
Yeah. Director's commentary watch-along with you and I.
Boy.
So that's going up for them soon.
I would never do that. It's only because they voted for it.
It's going to be cool.
I feel like I'm being
about
forced.
What?
What do you want me to say?
You're being forced? You're being forced by the love of our fans.
Yeah, they're sitting behind me saying, say something. What do you think about Deadpool?
I'm looking forward to it because, like, okay, obviously right now we can talk as much as we want about the doc, but, like, I'm not thinking about stuff like that's right in front of me.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Like, after the project is over, I'm, like, starting to think about what's next. And it's hard to look back at, like, oh yeah, that was a good shot, or that was really well written. Right, I do like that line. So it's gonna be fun to like watch it and like watch along.
My favorite comment was, it was like one of the first ones, and it said, "Are we really gonna sit here for an hour listening to the guy that doesn't believe in pirates?"
Oh damn! I didn't see that one. That's awesome.
It's a thread.
Oh, that's amazing.
There was people replying. So obviously, there's Recycle Bin listeners.
Yeah.
In the thread, it was just,
that's
someone
awesome.
said, "What's the Skull and Bones thing called?" Pablo Viego.
Dude, you say these things and you ruin my brain. Jolly Roger.
Yeah. Somebody posted that under there too.
Good. I love to see
so much
Recycle Bin representation. Oh man, that's actually. Let's see. Got another voicemail.
Hi, Jen and Bern. Richard from the UK.
Yeah, you are.
Again, sorry for the previously long message. You completely discombobulated me with the amazing doc.
Oh.
I just want to pause it real quick and say, Richard, love you. He sent us like a 3-minute voicemail.
Oh, did he really?
Of just like all of his thoughts. He's like, I'm going to try again. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the doc does that to people. You know?
I want to hear it.
Oh, well, you can. Don't worry.
Okay.
I guess my question now is, where next for you? Because
what do you say? What's
Apple
next?
is not the only company that needs those kind of exposery. I guess that's the word. Documentations about them. Do you plan on staying in the Apple lane, or do you plan on going, like, looking at other companies and, well, specifically tech companies, obviously, because that's kind of your thing. Or do you plan on sort of staying around the Apple side of things? Seriously amazing work, though. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Richard went on to say that he first found us via the Apple Sucks Now and It's Your Fault video.
Oh, what a start.
Yeah.
What a thing to find us on. I mean, do you want to take it? Do you want me to take it?
Well, I think you probably... What do you got in the chamber? You're clearly in a great mental space to just fire off. What you got?
I think the plan, it has always been to exit the Apple lane. Like, right now, I don't want to say we're using Apple content to do this, but it's like that's the only natural transition from what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it's what the audience expects, and it's what the demographic expects that is around us right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we are dabbling and using the Apple stuff, or trying to leverage the Apple stuff as a way to build credibility as we move on to something else. So, like, to prove that we can do it before we start telling other stories. I'm sure other tech stories, but I think ultimately, eventually, one day, I want to be able to tackle any story that we want to tackle.
Absolutely, I agree. Another thing is that for us, Apple is like, I'm not going to say it's easy for us, but like you said, we're already so in it. Mm-hmm. And by being so in it, it's like we just naturally are not only fans of Apple, but like it's really easy to rally around a figure such as like Steve Jobs. And it's like, he's so eccentric and the stories are just there. Yeah. Like more so than like every other company out there. Mm-hmm. Like everything, it's very like Apple's got a lot of secrecy. So naturally people are curious about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like they are provocative in and of themselves.
Yeah, I think that
like not that Google, like let's say Google isn't interesting, but it's like is Sundar Pichai still the you know, like he's just not as interesting.
There's not enough.
You know
there's
what
not
I mean?
enough history there. Yeah, there's
exactly.
Like, you got like the stories of early Apple are from such an interesting time because things just are not that way anymore.
Yeah.
There's not a tiny, tight-knit team of people with a crazy startup trying to make stuff happen.
Like rebellious,
the first,
counterculture.
The first iPhone can only be released one time. The iPhone 4, even to this day, was probably one of the largest jumps in iPhone, right on the cusp of them making that product like a cultural icon in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
That's just, it's very rare. I think that another reason why this works for us currently is because, like, documentaries are not new, obviously. People have been doing them way longer than we've even been alive. But I think the reason this feels new in this space is because of what we're covering. Like, because we're making content like this for this demographic that usually doesn't have this. Like, this demographic, you guys are used to getting YouTube videos, like leaks and rumors videos and stuff, and I feel like no one has given this space like this kind of love and attention to tell stories instead of just trying to put out a YouTube video.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, on the flip side of what you said, tech and things like that, especially on YouTube, it's like focused on YouTube videos, but also it's usually on what's next, like moving forward. Tech is always looking forward.
Yeah,
and
true.
It's like we are looking back, and I think that's one of the biggest differences in what we're doing, versus like everybody else.
Yeah, I just think that's one of the reasons why it stands out right now is because people make documentaries on YouTube as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we aren't
video essays, things
we aren't
like that.
Paving the path forward or anything.
No.
I think the reason that this is so new and unique is because we chose to do it in this space.
Yeah, in our space. Yeah.
Before we start to dabble outside of it, I think there's still a few more stories to tell here.
I think so.
Yeah. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, great.
Hi, my name is Dan, and I'm a long-time viewer of yours from way back, but I want to.
Holy shit! I know who this is. I know who this is.
You recognize Dan?
Oh my god!
Really?
Holy fucking shit! Are you serious right now? Hang on.
Oh, we're hanging on.
Even if we have to pause it.
Okay.
Okay, I just showed Burn, but this is Dan from episode
300?
300 of Front Page
FPT.
Tech.
What year was that?
Oh man,
that's crazy.
This was.
Oh no! What year?
This was 9 years ago.
Oh,
9 years ago, episode 300. Dan sent in a clip for the. I don't know if you guys can see that for the end of the show.
That's so cool.
It was like we let viewers send in videos to like say whatever they wanted in the last I guess episode 300, and he was the first entrant.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Dan, for being such a long-time fan.
Yeah.
Holy crap,
dude! His voice. I haven't heard his voice for 9 years, and the second I heard it, I was like, That's Dan.
That's amazing. Dude, I love this stuff. Oh, it's so awesome seeing older like fans coming out of the woodwork like this. Oh my God. My favorite podcast ever. Recycle Bin.
Isn't it great?
Best podcast in the world.
Let's continue with it.
Here we go, Dan.
16-year documentary, and I was wondering if these stories in your documentary made you think twice about getting products overseas, or because of all the deaths and if that makes any sense. And your documentary made me think of just keeping technology in the U.S. So, what do you guys think about changing your technology ways and getting things to the U.S.? I know it's difficult.
That's a great question.
Because everything is in overseas now, and as far as technology and stuff like that. So, good luck. I'm happy about the documentary, and good luck, guys, with your future. And I look forward to more documentaries. See you. Bye.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thanks, Dan. I can't believe that he's like
just still around like this. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's very cool.
Thanks for watching for so long. Jesus.
So, in regards to his question, I remember...
Front Page Tech is about to turn 11 years old, so he found us 2 years in.
I know. It was trash back then.
What the hell? Holy shit.
When we were like writing, when I was writing, and I sort of stumbled upon the story of Sun Dan Young and stuff like that, I remember like just picking up my phone and looking at it. Just like thinking about this thing. And like... It really is crazy. There's such a separation between where this stuff comes from and like getting it into our hands, and like it's clearly designed that way. Like nobody wants to think about this sounds so dark, but like nobody wants to think about like sweatshops.
Yeah.
And like these factories where like shoes are made and like cheap items. And I mean, I know TikTok is on the cusp of being banned or whatever, but like there was, I used to stumble across a lot of like live TikToks, or I assume they were genuine, of like factory workers' point of views. Like,
okay.
Have you seen those at all? Really? Yeah, it was like a person working on like an assembly line with, it looked like just endless amounts of other people around them.
Okay.
Products coming down and quickly test firing them and like doing all sorts of stuff and scrambling and having to throw them back in. It like, I guess it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's like I don't want to call it a necessary evil, because I feel like I would much rather just not have this type of technology.
What?
What?
What? You'd rather not have it?
Well, like, if okay, here's what I'm saying. If it takes this type of mistreatment of people and things like that to have an iPhone, like
That's the thing, though. It doesn't. It just, unfortunately, it requires that sort of treatment or mistreatment to have the iPhone at that price.
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, like I would totally want to pay more for technology if it meant that like.
But I mean, this is like
what do you do?
that. I don't think that was at all our intention with the doc. Like I saw a few comments like that about like, well, now I feel bad about having an iPhone, and a few people made good points in the comments as well that like it's not. If you think it's just Apple, like
Yeah, you're right. It's everything.
You have it attached to Apple because that's the most recent thing you saw in our documentary, but that's every company. Foxconn is the biggest manufacturer in the world.
Yeah.
And they don't just work for Apple. They work for Google, Microsoft.
That's true.
They work for everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, that unfortunately it all comes down to cost. Like we could make them here in the U.S. That is absolutely a thing that could happen, but prices will go up tremendously, and people won't buy them as much, and people will complain. You know, people that know, and more so average people that don't know about Foxconn, will complain about the price, and that'll be the thing that everyone is fixated on. Not, well, everyone's treated fairly now. That's not what everyone's going to talk about, and obviously it's not Apple going in there and being abusive or treating people unfairly.
Yeah.
Directly.
It like trickles down.
Yeah, it's just like. Over there in China, Andrew Edwards made a really good point in one of the interviews, which I think we're going to do extended interviews for Patreon.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to post extended versions of all the interviews with our special guests.
Yeah, one of the things that did make it into the actual final edit was, and he made a good point. It was that because a lot of people are maybe confused about, like, if you're not familiar with Sun Dan Young's story, he committed suicide after losing an iPhone 4 prototype. And a lot of people are like, how bad does it have to be for someone to take their own life over what is just a phone. And I think what a lot of people forget is, like, here in America, we're very blind to a lot of the stuff. Like over here in the West, we're blind to most of the other sides of the world.
Yeah.
And whereas here in America, our goal as we get older is to go to college, and that's where we go to for opportunity here in America.
Yeah.
Foxconn is the place of opportunity in China. It's like that's where the people are going to help their families get out of poverty. Or maybe not even just get out of poverty, but just to help them make it by. There are kids 17 years old that go to work at Foxconn. They're not going to college. They're going to Foxconn, and that's the rest of their life. Like and everyone is excited for them. They're excited for the job. They look at this as the greatest opportunity in the world because Foxconn doesn't hire just everybody. They're in China especially. They're like one of the most sought after jobs. They have millions of employees, and they can't accept everybody.
Or like Sun Danyang, he like had a degree in like business administration from like a high profile school.
Yeah, and you would think you know that would, but like Foxconn was the opportunity.
That is the door that's opened. Yeah,
and they they make pennies basically, and then they immediately send all that stuff back to their family. They aren't buying anything for themselves. They aren't buying the iPhone. They're not doing any of that stuff.
A lot of people are living in dormitories and stuff like on campus, like at the factory.
And a lot of times, and maybe this can be talked about in a future doc or something, but a lot of times they're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not just saying this is specifically for Apple, but when companies are working on high-end prototypes where secrets need to be kept, sometimes Foxconn doesn't let them leave until the information can be more readily available, just to ensure that nothing leaks.
Goodness.
And that means they live there. They have their own apartment building, or like Burns said, like a dorm. They have cafes there, stores there. It's like a whole city in Foxconn.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was a big deal during COVID too, them not being allowed to leave, and there were riots, and I think people just don't. I think people underestimate how that is normal elsewhere. Like to us, that sounds outrageous, but to them, like when that is the land of opportunity, and you feel like you have a purpose in life, and then it turns on you, and I mean, reportedly beats you during an interrogation, and blames
Mistreats.
you. They made him feel like it was the end of the world. Losing that one prototype, and so like I can't look at Sun and think that it's outrageous that he did what he did, because to him that was the biggest thing happening to his life, and I think that's the unfortunate part. But every company is like that. I would love things to be made here in the U.S., but it's like wanting to be vegan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't...
Right, that's true.
None of us that eat meat and stuff, that we don't like the killing of animals. It's just like, what... If you don't buy an iPhone because you want to avoid, tapping into the darker side of how they're built, well, then you're not buying anything, really.
Yeah, it feels
like
kinda,
every tech product is like this.
It feels very helpless, honestly. It doesn't feel good to know. Okay, how do I explain this? There's always a lot of situations where if one person would stand up to make a change, it's like that's how it starts. If only one person would take a second to like think about it and make a strong but yet difficult to make decision, it could like maybe spiral into large scale change. This stuff feels so large, and like it's like I was trying to say is like it made me think about my phone and if it's worth all this and all this stuff, and it just feels very helpless. Like you feel beat down by like the world, the scope of large scale manufacturing, and like how many people fall through the cracks and like are mistreated. And
you don't think about how like this discussion happening, it's not happening there. Like, it's so deep in the culture there that it's just like they don't think they're doing anything wrong. They don't see it the way we do, and there's just like there's nothing that we could do to stop that. And the only answer is to stop manufacturing there, and that's just not going to happen. There's too much money at stake, and I hate to like we are not the ones making it, money over people, but I'm just telling you that's just how it is.
Right.
And especially for these mega corporations. Apple's the biggest company in the world.
Yeah.
So, especially technologically. And I think I just wanted to bring something up real quick. I saw a few comments of like that we were stretching to connect the stories.
Yeah.
The iPhone 4,
I saw those
4
too.
leak to
the stuff with Sun. Yeah.
And I think that translating how we viewed this project is important because I feel like we haven't really done that or had the opportunity to do that. The documentary is not about the iPhone 4 leak.
No.
The documentary is about the iPhone 4. That's it. It's
Right.
like the story about the iPhone 4. And on our end, you can't talk about the iPhone 4 without also talking about the earlier controversies that we never heard about. It's not about, that documentary was not about Gray Pal. If we were making a documentary about Gray Pal, then yeah, we'd probably leave the other stuff out. But I think you got to look at it as a documentary, a story that we're trying to tell about one single phone and everything that happened making that phone.
Yeah. People wouldn't know this, but there was the end of the doc that everybody sees is not exactly the originally planned ending. I think the best way, like, honestly, it's a little heavy-handed, and I like the way that we decided to end the doc. But the original ending had, in closing thoughts, you saying, like, people have forgotten. And, like, the purpose in telling all this was, like, this was a story that needed to be told, and, like, you know, like the internet needs to be reminded. Like, and I feel like going back to what I said, it's like, yeah, if everybody stopped buying iPhones, maybe there would be some changes made under like human rights stuff. But like, at least for what we can do is like raise awareness and like, if what's the doc have like 100,000 views now, like right now, if that's 100,000 people now made aware of like this type of stuff happening, and it's like it even makes some people go like they pause and go, well, maybe I don't need to do this particularly wasteful consumerist thing.
Yeah,
I guess I'm happy with that. Like that's what we could do. That's what we can do as like in our position. You know.
Unfortunately, we just gotta like if this is something that really matters to people, you got to pick one. You got to pick.
Yeah.
You got to pick people over the price, and I just don't. For the majority of people, they're only thinking about themselves and their lives, and how that spending that amount of money will affect their lives and what they can buy next week if they can afford groceries. Because people will buy a phone when they can't, or shouldn't, and it's just like. I feel like, unfortunately, especially here in America, China's so far away; it's not in anyone's thoughts.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not like. Those people aren't viewed on an equal playing field as other people here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but...
It really is. We have to transition out of this somber thought because, dude, the next question, the next voicemail is in such a different direction.
Okay, hit me.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Sorry, you guys are going to get whiplash tonally, but here we go. Next voicemail.
Good morning, Jern and Bern. Captain T.P. Brown here from the Bermuda Triangle. I'm disappointed ye never heard of me, Captain T.P. Brown, Jern. Ye better beg ye parlay if we ever cross paths. The real riddle, though, me which part of the documentary did ye have just get right, spent the most time on, or were most proud of? Please excuse me, I have a date with a kraken. You two have a great day and a happy holidays.
Okay, so that voicemail came to us from RJ.
RJ.
He had a part in the beginning that he had me cut out. Because he said he wanted to ask the question in character.
Okay.
So he before that he told us he was a big fan and everything.
Oh my God, he instructed you?
He did.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you, RJ. His question was there a part of the doc that particularly that we are most proud of or that we have put the most work into? I think, at least from my memory, other than the edit itself, all of the physical props, like the photos and all the printouts and stuff, like it didn't really come through. And it's not like I'm sore about this or anything, but like there was a lot of like letters and random shit that I had to like recreate just based off of like images that had maybe 200 pixels in them entirely.
Like the letter from Apple, the court paperwork,
there was the letter from Apple requesting.
We had to upscale a bunch of stuff with AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the AI voice models came out pretty good. in my opinion, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely took a lot of attempts to get them where we were happy. The most time. I think, and this makes sense, the most time that, maybe not the most time consumed out of the whole thing, like maybe the most time consumed was the edit, but that's just because it's just pure like brute force through that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we spent the most time, I think it was 3 weeks, maybe more than 3 weeks, just on the writing.
Yeah.
Like you were able to take your time with the writing, and it got a little, I don't know if you planned on talking about this, but it got a little rough for you. Like there was a point where there was a couple times where you had to stop and like it got too real, and like you had a sad boy playlist on Apple Music.
Yeah, dude. Like this, the tones that like, okay, like try to understand our perspective, listeners. Like we really did go into that expecting to just make it about the iPhone 4 in the bar.
Yeah,
that was the intent.
That idea has been around for basically the whole year.
Yeah, and the first half. I'm just going to say real quick, the thing I'm most proud of, honestly, is how we established the like kind of lighthearted true crime documentary tone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy with how that came out.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we made a page turner of a documentary, which is like, I was like addicted to watching it, even though I knew the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it quickly became a different beast. Because it didn't really come throughout in the interviews that people got to see publicly, but like nobody had heard of Sun Dan Young.
Yeah,
like amongst all of our guests, like I think maybe what was it, Quinn had heard about it.
We had shocker.
Yeah, right.
We had given everyone a document with the questions that they were going to be asked and like how to set up their shot and all this other stuff. But the document even says one of these questions we're leaving out to get your genuine reaction. And so like during the and you kind of get a look at it in the trailer. Brian's about to ask Luke. He's about to read Sun Dan Young's like last words, and then we did that for everybody. And that was I think also that's something I'm very proud of, is just having other people in it.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, it's huge. It was very fun, and like it like breathed a lot of life into the
and it
project.
Like none of that went as planned. Like the
oh no,
because of a lot of the answers and people being experienced with the story and just being intelligent. They were able to jump in, and like there were multiple times where I cut many lines from myself telling the story to replace that with one of the guests telling part of the story. And I really like that we had other people involved with this one. Obviously, like we want to do that with every documentary, but this was like our. I think you can see the evolution we're trying to achieve, like from the Tim doc, where it is just completely us, to where we're like we used the stuff that we learned from there to try to build onto something else, and like I'm sure, like next time. I anticipate us like flying around to do interviews and like,
right.
I think fun fact, that's why a lot of the times, a lot of the people you see are creators, like YouTubers.
For sure.
Andrew Edwards was obviously, he's an industry veteran and has been reporting for a while. John Gruber, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, in preparation for how fast this project was going, especially when a sponsor was attached to it, it was like, there was only so much we could do, even if we wanted to do more. And I'm still like, I'm proud of how we pulled off the interviews, regardless of like, I don't know if it's clear, but we gave everyone camera settings and angles and everything to set up that shot. Either them or their team set it up for us.
Yeah, we gave them a total guideline. Maybe we'll post it on Patreon or something, just for fun.
And we were on a FaceTime call with everybody. So but that's like what enabled us to show interviews like that. So I think
funny enough, like the interview with Brian Tong, from what we saw, we were FaceTiming with his crew, and they were pointing the iPhone that we were FaceTiming on at the viewfinder of the camera.
Yeah.
So like we were like, it was weird.
Yeah, we basically did that for everybody.
But it worked great. There was like, dude, I'm so happy we ended up actually having John Gruber on, because By the time we actually came up with the idea to have guests, we were pretty deep into production already.
The story was done, I would say.
Yeah, and we already had like a deadline in mind to have it out, and we were considering driving like the 10 to 12 hours to physically go to John Gruber
Yeah.
to like
I think
be
if we
on
had a
site with
week
him.
extra.
Yeah, and we were seriously like, oh man, would it be worth it? Like, can we actually spare the like 36 hours or whatever it would be to
Yeah.
like travel that
It would
far?
it would stop production for at least 3 days to do that.
So it's like, and you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Like we have been in communication with almost everybody involved in this story. We had we had contact with Gray Powell. We had contact with Jason Chen.
Yeah.
We had contact with Brian Lamb.
Yep.
For one reason or another, every single one of those, it just kind of fell through.
Well, like, I don't know how much we can say, but there are agreements in place.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're not.
Yeah.
They're. You might wonder why you haven't heard a lot of them talk about this stuff after, and there is a reason.
Everybody's got their reasons, yeah.
And but yeah, I think that's important to mention. That's a good point because, like, I saw a few comments like that. Like, why didn't you just get the actual people? Like,
We tried.
Like, luckily, off the record, they helped a little bit. You know, where they could talk. But you know, if it was totally up to us and there weren't any like legality issues, they would have been in it. I think. But
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things, just because, like, you know, having the respect of your peers and things like that, or like people who have been around this industry for so long is very cool. Like, hearing that, like, John Gruber saw the trailer and he was hype.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And knowing that, like, Brian Lamb saw the trailer and he was like, that's really cool.
yeah, he texted me.
Like, that was just a scheduling issue. You know, we couldn't get him on.
Yeah,
but, like,
he's. I probably shouldn't say that.
okay.
Yeah, there may or may not have anything to do with him, but we have through this process heard rumblings that there is a streaming service also making a documentary about this.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
We don't know that. I don't know the name of the streaming service, and you know, I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, this is such a crazy project. And it's so funny how, like, while we were in the trenches making it, it was like, I was like, yes, this is the best thing we've ever made. And now that it's done, I can so much more easily be like, I didn't like that. But like, I can't wait for the next one.
What didn't you like?
Oh, well, now I'm like on rewatch and you know, rereading the script and things like that. I just have some issues with the pacing, but nothing that we could have.
What do you mean?
It's hard to explain, but my point is that, like, it's one of those things that I don't think I could have known that I wasn't gonna like until we made it.
I see.
Like, it's only one of those things that you can find out through experience, if that makes sense. It's like, now for the next doc, I have some ideas of like, okay, well, I'm not going to do this for writing, or I'm not going to include this yet. Things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I now have like a better idea of how I want to structure things.
Yeah, like there was even the animations, like so the renders that you saw
my
from
God, yeah.
Asher. First of
Incredible.
all, his best work, probably best work we've had on the YouTube channel as well.
It was great.
Out of everyone we worked with.
It added
Crazy.
so much energy to the doc.
And the audience has been really like accepting of him, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
He's like, I think, and Shay, who's worked with us before, Concept Central, he even texted me, was like, people are more receptive to Asher than any of us. Like, he's more of like a character in the FPT universe.
Yeah, it feels like that.
Those were started when the writing started, I think. A lot of those were done before anything else. But the actual, like, the low poly people, like, animating the actual events, that was more last minute. So, you know, crazy that he pulled out. Like, Asher and I both, the last few nights were not sleeping. It was insane. And so obviously, like, there's no amount of thank yous in the world. That, like, at that point, you're just doing it for the love of the craft.
Yeah.
You know, like, you collectively, everyone wants it to be good. And there's definitely stuff in the doc that like I'm not going to say them publicly. Maybe years from now, because I don't want to like take anyone out of the experience. But there's things that personally like anger me.
Oh yeah,
like limitations that we had that anger me.
Yeah,
either time limitations or it was just like I don't want to point them out for everyone else because I don't want to share the experience that I have when I'm watching it. But
yeah,
I know that we can do better.
yeah, it's a good way to put it. I agree with you. Yeah.
Like I would have loved if this was up to us. You wouldn't have heard about this for another month. I think. Like, but it's not all up to us. It's not. Even if we had another month, I don't think it would have been. I would have ever looked at it as perfect.
No, I think the best you can do is always get to like 99%.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's always going to be something.
There was some of the most time consuming stuff, I guess, in the edit was like there were beats that you want to hit, right? And I think that's for everything. But like you know while you're editing them that they matter more than the other moments in the timeline. One of those is like the Gizmodo story going live. Like revealing that Jason Chen posted a video, and like you can say that, but the challenging part is in today's day and age, that's not unheard of. We just had a MacBook leak where there was 200 MacBook Pros just leaked on a Russian YouTube channel. It's like, so not only do you have to tell the story, but you have to like have the audience feel the impact of that.
Yeah,
and
the
I think
emotional
that was a
beats.
big. I think that was a big challenge of like, okay, we can say this, but how do we also tell them? How can we show and tell them?
How can they feel it?
Yeah.
Right.
So, also, not that like this doesn't go along with the question about what we're most proud of, but I teared up on set as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to release that, but like my first time reading the Sun Dan Yong like stuff.
It's hard to get through.
Yeah, like
I remember that.
Obviously, you had read it, and I had heard you read it to all of the people we interviewed because Brian wanted to like specifically take that question each time. But when I read it on set, I had to get up and like leave.
Take a minute. Yeah,
it was just very, very. You wouldn't have never guessed on the Front Page Tech YouTube channel.
Yeah, you know what? I just want to say because I can point to a specific thing that I'm unhappy with.
Okay.
That a few people have made comments about this on it.
Okay.
This bums me out. Brian Hogan, the guy who got the phone from the bar and then sold it to Gizmodo, he, in his agreement, at least from what he said, he was promised $5,000 up front and a bonus of either $3,000 or $3,500.
I think it was 35.
Well, his lawyer, see, this is what I'm talking. This stuff is so old, and like there was so much legwork.
Brian Hogan is the one person from the story we did not make contact with.
Yeah,
I tried, couldn't get a hold of him.
Like, this is where all the legwork came in, like research wise. Is like Brian Hogan said one thing, his lawyer 14 years ago said another thing. So it's like it was either $3,000 or $3,500 that he was promised if Apple confirmed the legitimacy of the iPhone 4
they were
prototype.
asking for $10K. Gizmodo, or rather Gawker, was like, we'll give you $5K and then a bonus if the prototype ends up being real.
And again, this is what Brian Hogan and his lawyer said. He did not ever, allegedly receive the additional payment. And this is one of those things that I had written into the script, that it was in my timeline, like my notes of everything. And for whatever reason, it that little detail did not make it into
what I read.
Right. And it just, for whatever reason, and when we realized that, like I said, you were under a little bit of a cold. We were deep in the edit pipeline, and it was just like, fuck. Well, I guess that detail is just not going to be in it. And that that irks me on like a cellular level. That this factual thing could not be included for
even though we don't know what the actual fact is.
Yeah, for time constraint reasons. Yeah.
It's like it's funny because he didn't give it to Engadget because Engadget seemed shady, but he actually got ripped off by Gizmodo in the end.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of people got ripped off by Gawker.
And also, like, I'm sorry. Is that an important part of the story? Sure, but like, bro, he stole the phone. Like, there's only
I know. Yeah, it's a fascinating.
Not that he shouldn't be treated as fairly as the rest of the people in the story, but bro, come on.
I mean,
you thefted it.
I think
You're the theft part.
I'm going to stay neutral here, but I think it was a very fascinating tale.
It was a very fascinating tale, yeah.
All right, we have one more voicemail. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, it's Catherine from Texas. I just wanted to call and ask, not tech related, but wrestling related. I wondered if, since you make documentaries and you love wrestling, did you guys watch the Netflix documentary on Vince McMahon and what your thoughts were on that?
Oh, yeah.
And if you have any other recommendations on documentaries in general, because that's interesting to me. Thanks. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Catherine. So
thank
nice
you,
to hear from you.
Catherine.
We have a girl listener. That's wonderful.
I'm sure we have a lot. Thank you for your question. Yes, we have seen, what's it called, Mr. McMahon?
Yeah. It is.
We watched it
the
together.
day of.
The day of. We were so hype on it. That was so funny.
Every part of it, yeah. Very, I mean, it sounds weird to say good documentary. The thing is, for a wrestling fan, or a mark, as you might call us, none of that information is new.
It was to me because I'm new.
Yeah, you're newer. If you were around and you've been a fan for a long time, none of that stuff was like new information. But I think I frown upon people that look at documentaries in a negative light if they know the story already. Like there was a few of those people in our comments too. It's like yeah, but like maybe consider. Just because you know it all, that not everyone else. Like Netflix's audience, they aren't marks, you know.
Yeah,
and they're being introduced to this stuff. And documentaries, they're not reaching for a completely niche audience where you're only going to hear new information. Sometimes the story being told in a captivating way,
the packaging matters.
That is the benefit. And I thought that was even though I knew all of it, I thought it was a very good documentary, especially for Raw's coming to Netflix. It's a good introduction into like the universe and how crazy it used to be.
A lot of that stuff was absolutely insane to me as a new fan. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine what still hasn't been said or found out in regards to like early WWE, WWF stuff.
We won't know until Vince is gone, probably.
Hilariously, some of the best like documentaries to recommend are probably wrestling related if you're into that stuff, because it has been such a like cultural zeitgeist for like decades. And so much of it, especially in the early days, it's still like only coming out now. So like there's still
one of my
new
favorite
stuff to learn.
One of my favorite documentaries, and I showed you, I think Catherine, you would like it too. It's called Wrestling in the Shadows.
Oh yeah,
it's from the late '90s, I think.
That's a great one.
And
was that the one with Jake the Snake?
I think it was the one that focused around Bret Hart.
Okay,
but I think Jake's in it. Highly recommend watching it. Very good documentary, and I feel like the WWE Network. Well, I guess now it's most of the stuff's on Peacock, and eventually will be on Netflix. I mean,
it's like all there.
Yeah, they have the entire archive of everything. Like they probably have a whole division that is just focused on like capturing the history of everything. As
they have to.
It's like
record keepers.
Everything is in house.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like they have all the footage from everything ever. There's footage that they have that may never see the light of the day. They are always recording. The camera is always on somewhere.
Well, there's always extra cameras too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
People getting other angles that aren't shown.
Yeah, people recording stuff behind the scenes, like even if there's no intention of it being posted anywhere, or if it's not in a project at the time.
Just go in the vault.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah.
Outside of wrestling related content though, what are some documentaries that you are personally I could recommend? The first one I thought of, honestly, and I'm sorry if it's like low-hanging fruit because like true crime stuff is so prevalent in the documentary space. Was it The Staircase?
The Staircase, yeah.
There's that, and then of course The Jinx. If you I feel like everybody who has had any interest in true crime or documentaries has seen or heard of The Jinx.
You would think that, but anyone I ask, they always say no.
Well, if you haven't, check out The Jinx. Holy shit.
It's an HBO
what a story.
Series. They actually released a part 2 like last year. The part 2 is whatever. The first series of episodes though, actually incredible.
Yeah.
The Staircase is incredible just because of the span of time that it covers. Like the documentary crew, it's the original documentary crew that covered it from beginning to end as these people get older throughout the decades, and it's just an incredible feat of production and like time equity into that, like to that universe. That it's an incredible doc series. It was made years and years and years and years and years ago, but Netflix eventually purchased it, and then they added 2 like extra episodes at the end. So The Staircase on Netflix is incredible. Not the Staircase series on HBO. It's not the same thing.
No.
It's based on the same thing, not the same thing.
Yeah, the show on HBO is like a reenactment, like a retelling.
David Rudolph, this is like my biggest fangirl moment. David Rudolph from the Michael Peterson's lawyer that's in The Staircase, the real guy, not the reenactment. He follows me on Twitter.
That is insane.
It's like the coolest thing, yeah.
Outside of true crime, though, and see, like, we do love documentaries, and I've seen so many in my freaking life, but I can't think of any. I should have like tried to do more research.
Evil Geniuses is also very good on Netflix about the pizza bomber.
Yeah.
I got chills just thinking of it. That's an insane story.
One of my favorite filmmaking centric. I hesitate to call it a documentary, but I'm like a massive Tolkien, like Lord of the Rings fan. Like for my birthday last year, I had you, and this is before you had any interest in like this type of stuff. I had you watch the extended cut of each of the Lord of the Rings films with me.
In the same day.
In the same day, marathon.
What was it, 13 hours?
About, yeah. We took longer because we took breaks to talk about the movies.
Pizza.
And it was great, right? You loved it?
It was really good. Really great.
Those, I have like a Blu-ray collection. Now there's, I think there's more collections out for those films, but the behind the scenes making of on those films is just staggering.
I bet.
Like the undertaking to not only create films with such a massive scope, but to film them like back to back in sort of one swoop is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
With all of the physical props and like practical filmmaking effects and stuff, like, good Lord. Absolutely captivating.
It makes me wish, like, I wish we had more, like, maybe for the next one, since we can anticipate the scope of everything, like, I think it would have been cool to record stuff as we were going for an eventual behind the scenes
worry.
documentary about the documentary.
Oh, don't worry. That's planned for Patreon.
No, but I mean, like, active, like, you know what I mean?
No. I'm confused now.
Beginning of the process to end, we are actively recording for...
I got ideas.
I'm just saying for the next one, you know what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying, and I'm saying I've thought this out, and I have a plan. So
I hope that, like, for the next one, like, I knew it was going to be a hard edit, but I don't think I could have ever been prepared for how intense the edit was going to be. If I remember, I should take a screenshot of the edit and include it, like, here on Recycle Bin.
That'd be a great idea.
The timeline looks insane.
It does. It doesn't look like a timeline. It looks like you dropped a bunch of like pieces of paper, and it just like I don't even know.
Looks like a bomb went off.
It's like a mess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all the voicemails. Guys, call, leave your own. 404-919-5530.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I had to look for a second though.
Call and leave us a voicemail. Keep it like 30 seconds or so.
Yeah.
And I guess unless you're going to start cutting them up. I don't know.
Well, I just had to, I mean, like, that was a request.
I see.
It was a
So he
special
could be in
request.
character.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to say about the doc? Or
Now that the doc is over, outside of new projects, talking about real life, relaxation, what are you looking forward to, like, because you haven't been doing anything fun for yourself. So, like, what do you...
Jesus Christ.
Well, it's been all encompassing.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you looking forward to getting back to?
Yeah, maybe,
Just for Journ time.
Yeah, maybe people don't know this, but, like, I am an all or nothing kind of person.
Oh, yeah, you are.
And it's not like I wasn't punishing myself. That's what I want to do. Like, when we're that deep in a project, I think we both get, like, even Brian talked about it a couple weeks ago, like, that's all we think about.
Yeah.
And it's like we can't control that either, especially when we know there's a huge difference between working on, like, what Front Page Tech used to be versus the new stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a different kind of pressure for something that's going to live longer.
Yeah.
Like, for Front Page Tech episodes, what you got?
I love this podcast. Audio listeners, our overhead light just flickered a bunch.
For Front Page Tech For Image Tech episodes that might live like 3 days, it's like, okay, whatever. But it feels really good to put something out that, the Tim Doc is every month is our second most viewed video still.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Like that, I love that you can, no matter what time you find this documentary, no matter what year, it's the same thing.
It stands on its own.
Yeah. So I think that now that that's done, right now I am way more exhausted than I thought I was going to be, and I don't know why. Like I thought I caught up on sleep, but I'm struggling so hard.
You are 31 years old, and you
Is that
slept.
it?
You slept for like 3 hours
I'm
across
struggling.
2 or 3 days.
I think that like I want to watch some movies.
Just relax.
Yeah. I want other people to feed things into my ears,
Feed
my
content
ears
to
and my
you.
eyes.
Yeah.
I want to finish watching The Penguin with you because we were trying our best.
Oh, I know.
Only got through a couple episodes the last couple months.
Yeah, we really have.
Wrestling,
Of course. Mario Kart, probably.
Mario Kart. I miss
Get
Mario
mad at
Kart.
Mario
Yeah,
Kart.
it's gonna feel weird. I mean, like, what are you going to do?
I am just excited to take some time and play WoW, play World of Warcraft.
We haven't had a bro time in a while either.
Yeah, I just want to say, guys, if you play World of Warcraft and you're on the new anniversary servers, send goodies and mail to me because I think that'd be fun. I want handouts. There's a lot of WoW streamers and content creators that they get like a bunch of like fan mail in game because there's like an in-game mail service.
Yeah,
I want that treatment.
it's
I'm so
closed.
happy that you put your cap on.
it's empty.
On the Dream Scythe server, my name is Byrne.
The Dream Site.
Dream Scythe. It's called Dream Scythe, okay? Server, BERN. Send me things in game. It'd be really cool. That's so bright. Okay, I guess we're just going to be in the dark now for the end of the podcast. So that's my thing.
I fucking hate it.
I know you do. We'll fix the lights. Don't worry.
$14,000 of lights, and none of them fucking stay on.
Thanks for watching Recycle Bin or listening, guys. Appreciate you always.
We love you.
You going to say something? Yeah, there you go.
Is that it? Are we ending it?
I think so. You want to say anything else?
I feel like now it's just dark and mysterious,
It does feel like we're being, whoa.
doesn't
It
it?
does feel like our identities have been hidden.
Should we
to
put a
protect
voice
us.
changer on for the rest of the episode?
The rest of the episode's like 2 seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you watched last week's episode, it was on the main channel. So if you're only watching Recycle Bin here and you're like, where the hell? Because this episode's gonna be posted, you're gonna be like, did you skip a whole episode? Did you skip episode 12? Turns out, no. We beat the record.
what episode?
We beat the record.
Yay.
This is episode 13, the longest run of Recycle Bin in its history.
I forgot to introduce the episode number.
Longest run in its history. We've done it. What an achievement!
Yay!
What an achievement!
Thanks,
it's like
guys.
a real show now. This is like now when we think about Recycle Bin, this will be the run we think of.
That's true.
Oh wow, what a lovely time!
Oh yeah. Also, fptdocs.com is the Patreon.
FTDocs.com.
If you want to get your name in the credits of the next doc,
Burns making me do a director's commentary or something.
it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. You're excited too. I can
I'm
tell.
so excited. Yes.
We.
Woohoo!
All right. See you guys next
Bye.
time.